A dear brother of mine called me today and really gave me some much needed encouragement. It wasn't that I was really down in the dumps today, but because of what my wife and I are going through, he felt he needed to give me a shot in the arm, and he really did. And I remember what he had to go through with his wife. And I'm not going to tell you his name because I don't want anyone, I don't want to embarrass him just because I said his name, because it was all good anyway, but I'm not here to spread things to him that didn't tell. I didn't ask him to spread his name anyway, but what he told me was some good things, and about how he had to deal with his own wife and the experience that he had to go through. He was a fellow elder from Peace Apostolic, and I don't see him very much, but when I do see him, we hug each other because it's a brother relationship that we have. And the reason why I'm mentioning his name is because essentially sometimes you do need that encouragement. Sometimes you need for someone to be able to understand the predicament that you're in. Not to say a lot of words, but just to let people know, let you know that they're praying for you and that you're on their mind. Sometimes that's really all you need. Of course, this is Elder Adrian Heyman, and I'm continuing my story about how we got in this present condition where my wife is, of course, she is bedridden for most of the day, and I take care of her. It's not something I'm complaining about. Definitely, I'm not complaining about it, because it could be so much worse. But at least I think under the guise of transparency, which is what my sister, again, Evangelist Karen White, was wonderful as she preached to us this past Sunday. But I'm just continuing the story of just, again, how we got in the situation that we're in right now. I spoke, I believe it was yesterday, about how my wife had a mini stroke that did affect her speech, and people at church knew. But she was able to press her way out, and she just wanted to press her way. And as I was saying before, there were times where she didn't want to take her medicine. And I can't make her take her medicine, so I guess we'll have to wait until the next day. I would give it to her, and of course she wouldn't take it. I think she was tired at the time. I think she was just tired of taking so much medication. Because she would take it at one time. It must have been about 15, 20 pills that she had to take all at once. And helicopter. Wait till it comes by. Okay. And I had left off that she had, right before we were supposed to go on a cruise, she was admitted to the hospital for an infection, which I didn't quite understand because I thought I was taking good care of her. We made sure, and that was when she was doing peritoneal dialysis. That means you would be at home giving yourself treatment by this machine that would essentially not take your blood out and in, but it would pump fluid into what's called your peritoneal cavity. And then that fluid would suck out all the impurities from your body and then sometimes you have to release the fluid. It's the less invasive way of doing dialysis, but it has its dangers, including ease of infection, which she had gotten at that time. And at the same time, she also, as I said before, she had problems staying up. She would fall down all of a sudden. I had to be ready for that. And sometimes I didn't catch her, and it, and of course she would be on the ground, and it just wasn't a good picture. But anyway, I was about to cancel the cruise, but I just looked at her face, and she did not want to cancel the cruise. She wanted to go, and I wanted to make sure that she had a nice time. So about a day or two after she was released from the hospital, we're now going on our way to Fort Lauderdale, because the cruise line that we were taking left from Fort Lauderdale. I mean, we were used to it. We did it several times before. And then we thought, okay, this is not that bad right now. But the problem was because our house had just been cleared to move in, we only had enough time to take everything out the hotel, dump everything in the house, and then go. And in that process, I had forgotten my clothes. Well, also what took place was we were kind of late, and with all the stuff that we were carrying in our bags, trying to check everything in, we actually missed our plane. So we had to get another flight. And so we're on our way to Fort Lauderdale. Looks okay. I'm tired. I'm rushing everywhere, carrying all the bags, and pushing her in a wheelchair. Not the easiest thing to do, but it's okay. We get to Fort Lauderdale. We get to our hotel, because we were going to stay about a day or so. Well, we're going to stay, the day before 2 days before. We got there today, and then we stayed a day, and then we left. And we had to stay that day because I had to get all the fluid that we needed to do her dialysis on the ship. They allowed us to do it, but we had to carry everything on board ourselves. With all these boxes, we had about 15, 16 boxes. And these are not small, these are pretty big boxes and kind of heavy. But it's okay, we're ready for it. And she looks okay, but again, she's not taking her medicine. And I'm trying to get her in, and she wouldn't take it. So I'm a bit discouraged, but it's okay. She's still doing all right. That's good. So we get on the ship. Of course, it was a time getting all of the peritoneal fluid that came by, that came in to us while we were at the hotel. So I didn't have to carry it all from home. But we got the fluid, got all the boxes, put them along with the suitcases and so on, and got on the ship. So we could finally go, and that felt good. So we leave port, and of course it takes us a while to get to where we are getting off on our first go. So you have one full day of sailing. And it was a good day. She even went to one of the pools at the jacuzzi. We made some friends there. And I said, okay, it's nice. This is nice. I can get her to rest. And I was asking her, are you resting? And she was like, well, yeah. I said, yeah, okay. But we were going to go on a excursion in our first stop, which was Cozumel. So we get off at Cozumel, and we had missed our earlier excursion. Said, well, you can take this one. We can't really get your money back, but you can get on another excursion for about the same price. Okay, we'll do that. So we got on this excursion. It was just travel to the old Cozumel, and then maybe go to where they make their tequila. Not that we were going to drink any tequila, and where they made their chocolate, which was pretty interesting. But the tour bus that we were going on was very steep, and it really winded my wife, Sister Heyman. And so I have to help her up the stairs and try to help her down so she doesn't fall down the stairs, and make sure she gets into her wheelchair and push her. And we're always going okay until the last stop. The last stop was back at the port. And at that point, I noticed that she couldn't get out of her seat. And she couldn't even walk. They had to carry her off the bus, put her in the wheelchair. I take her to the room. And then I find out that she really couldn't do too much of anything except look. And I didn't know it at the time, but she was having a massive stroke right there on the ship. When I finally figured out what it was, we went to the ship's sick bay. I was hoping it wasn't that, but it was. And she had an infection as well. So she's battling two things. And they told me that if she didn't get help, then she may not make it. So our next stop was in Costa Rica. And at that place, they had a plane there, a medevac. I had to go first and get our passports stamped. So I had to go into town by myself. And by the time I got back, I found out that the ship's help had all packed up my stuff and all kinds of things. And I'm thinking, Lord, what's going on? Because they'd held my wife there overnight, and they didn't have that medicine that she would take that would reverse at least some of the effects of the stroke. All they can do is just keep her in the bed, in the sick bay. And so whatever money that I did have, I pretty much spent it all there, to be honest. And I didn't know what was going to happen when we would get back to the States. They said they couldn't take her to California. She's too far. So they flew us back to Fort Lauderdale. And I asked them, pleaded with them, can I stay with my wife? I really don't have any money to stay at a hotel and come and see her every day. And they were so kind and so nice that and I thank God for that. See, sometimes you have to thank God for the small things, for things that you may think, today it may have been small. To me, it was huge. So I actually lived with her in the hospital. They had a little cot for me and I slept there. I didn't complain because at least I was there with my wife. And they told me about what they're trying to do. They wanted to, once she gets to a certain strength, move her to a rehabilitation hospital, not center, but hospital. But at that point, they were trying to treat the infection, which had raged all over her body. She had lost so much weight. She got down to around maybe under 100 pounds. She was skinny. And I was scared. And I didn't know how long I would be able to be at the hospital. But I knew I was stuck in Florida. We couldn't go because, of course, we couldn't use our plane tickets because, we missed the flight, of course. So, but there was two things that helped me when I was there, 2 people. I do want to say their names. Well, 3 people. Well, no, 4 people as I go through everything. 4 people helped me. I was able to get in touch with Bishop David Richardson. He became my pal so much. I knew him from when he used to be the choir director of the California District Council. But the Lord knows how to give you what you need when you need it, and I needed him. He said, he always would tell me, I just had a stroke myself, and I'm hearing that your wife had a stroke. I want to help you. He said, hey, when the time comes, I'll let you know how you can help me. But I'm okay right now. Then my aunt calls me, and she was kind of always calling, not pestering, but just calling me to make sure I'm okay. Then my sister-in-law, Sister Heyman's sister, Melody, didn't know she was going to do this. But she heard that my wife had a bed sore, and she was just taken aback by it. How dare they do that to my sister? So she flew all the way to Florida. I believe that my pastor helped her with the financing of the flight that she was going to take. And I thank God for my pastor as well, District Elder Levon Mitchell. And he helped in this. And I must say, my sister cracked the whip. She really cracked the whip. How dare you? Because she's a nurse. She knows what needs to be done. And I was so happy that she was able to take charge and have them watch over her and have her move around in the bed. Even took a picture of just how she was. Then there was this one other brother, Brother Bashan Johnson. I had talked with him before. We were good friends. And he had moved out to, I believe, South Carolina. But he was a trucker. He is a trucker still. And he said, you know what, Elder Heyman, I'm going to visit you. I'm going to come down. It'll take me 5 hours, but I will come and visit you. He said, no, you don't have to do that. It's a long way. I'm going to do it. I just want to see you and my sister. And I thank God for him, because he came. Oh, he came. See, the Lord knows how to bring you to have people come in your presence when you really need them. And I needed him. He may not know how much, but I needed to see his face and hear his words of comfort and encouragement. And my wife was glad to see him. Was happy that stroke didn't take away her memory. But it was really good. It was good for him to be there. So I had my sister. Of course, she had to return, but she said, I want you to feed her this. I want you to give her this. I want you, if she wants popcorn, she can have popcorn, whatever. I would sneak that in because I know that they had her on a certain diet. But I was going to make sure that she was okay. I didn't really care about myself. I didn't care. I figured I'd make do. Fortunately, the hospital had a nice cafeteria, so I was able to go down there and get things to eat. Then if I walk, I didn't realize now I'm paying for it with surgery on my back, but I was able to walk with some pain to a few places around the hospital. And she stayed in the hospital for about 30 days, close to 30, well, 21, 22 days from the time that she got there, which was like November 9th. Was it November? Yeah, it was November. No, it was November. I'm sorry. It was May. I'll forget. It's May to June. It was May. It was from May 9th to the end of May. Sorry about that. The end of May. And I began to do again the sessions that I had begun before, like the Midnight Cry, the Word Diner, the current events. And I just found different places in the hospital where I would hope nobody was, and I just taped it at that particular time. But I was making sure I was concerned about my girl, my sister. And I thank God he took care of us. And they was having problems with finding the right rehab center because Kaiser wouldn't pay for it. At least not at first. But they made a deal with Kaiser because we're out of Kaiser's territory, of course. And so around the last of the month, they transferred my wife to a rehab center. Still in Florida. Still not really know how I'm going to get home, but knowing that the next stop was home. And we had to figure that out. And that will be next time. Again, the Lord knows how to bring you from the depths and knows how to be with you and walk with you. Because the nights that it was just her in a hospital bed with the machines beeping, and I'm just sitting there or lying down on the cot, that's when you really know that God is a friend. A sticker closer than a brother. That he is really with you until the end. That he calms you down when you're nervous. And that you have confidence when there's no word of confidence around. Again, just telling my testimony, Sister Amon's testimony. But I'm not finished. Just taking a break for today. If you want to hear some more, be on tomorrow. But again, the Lord is blessing us. And he's blessed us then. And I'm letting you know, we had no way of getting home. I pretty much had exhausted all of my money on the in the cruiser's sick bay. Just one thing, if I want to encourage anyone to have is make sure you have cruise insurance. We didn't have cruise insurance. Get it. It may cost some, but get it. It will save you a lot of heartache if something should happen. Make sure that taught me something that I'll never forget. If I ever go on a cruise again, and hopefully I will, pay for the insurance. But other than that, may God bless you, may he keep you, and hopefully this helps somebody to go through whatever they're going through. That God won't leave you. He will have someone to be there as a help for you. Just understand that. God bless you. Thank you for your time. In Jesus' name.